Over the weekend, the FBI and Homeland Security issued a joint memo across the country of threats made, including a threat to place a so-called...
Do you think we're getting close? Because people are saying it all over.
War?
Civil war, yeah.
I've said that numerous times. There's going to be trouble.
We're here for the people. We're ready to take our country back, get rid of the people that shouldn't be in office and put the people in that need to be in.
I think we're doomed. I don't know what's going to happen.
An election will further inflame the culture war in the U.S.
What we're doing, the target group, is to provide a safe space for trans, queer, people of color, and other marginalized groups.
I bought my first gun. It was a shotgun 10 days after January 6th.
At this public outreach event at a local park, the Socialist Rifle Association finds an audience for its message. There's an arms race in America, and the right wing is winning.
Oh, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
That potential superior intelligent life might be creating buildings or devices, so-called alien megastructure. This newly released study published by a group of researchers finds at least 7 stars might be surrounded by these alleged alien structures.
Police weren't there to handle a group of rowdy teens, but rather 8 to 10 feet tall, shadowy aliens. A big creature could be seen standing in front of the entrance to the shopping area.
Families saw these mysterious, unidentifiable creatures in their backyard right here behind me. 10-foot tall creatures that they were standing there looking at him. They could see them breathing, growling at him. Well, it turns out that these unidentified, unexplainable phenomenon didn't just stop at that night.
Aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear weapon state, but with the participation or support of a nuclear weapon state, should be regarded as a joint attack on the Russian Federation. We reserve the right to use nuclear weapons in the event of aggression.
I've said before, Russia will not prevail in this war. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin. President,
I'm better.
You are a hell of a...
How are you feeling today? How is everybody feeling? It feels like every day there is some new impending doom or mass public outrage, something to really get you fired up. Even if you try to avoid the news or stay off social media, something usually does get in that you have to shake off, lest it live rent-free in your head for the rest of the day. I try to keep the media I take in as positive and productive as possible, but I would be lying if I said I never enjoyed that brain rot, that trash content, maybe even some politically charged content. I swear I'll sometimes tell myself, nope, not today. Not starting my morning with something negative or just charged emotionally in general. But there's always a form of rage bait just ready to get served up. You guys probably already know what this is by now, rage bait. Those are your Karen videos, your public freakouts, your street interviews are my favorite. Those rants about the radical degeneration of society because of a company's marketing campaign or a TV show or a movie. Why does rage bait work? I mean, it's obvious why this content gets so many views and ends up on our recommended feeds or recommended For You pages on TikTok, for example. Anger or secondhand cringe, fear, these are powerful driving emotions, and they are tied to very basic instincts, very ancient instincts. You might think I sound cynical, but much of this content is manufactured, and it's manufactured to trigger these visceral responses. They found out that they could compile these videos and generate a significant amount of attention and income from that. And there are entire corporations that are devoted to creating content, just creating their own channels. The formula for generating rage clicks and engagement has become ubiquitous. In emotions, they have more power over us than ever before. It seems like it might be a conscious effort by some to leverage these emotions, causing millions to act against better judgment, values, and even survival. Take smoking as a prime example, okay? So this isn't conspiracy theory. This is marketing 101. I'm fascinated by the power of emotion and how much power it has these days in our world. When people talk about the metaverse and VR, well, maybe they're not talking about metaverse as much, but they were. And VR certainly is becoming more prolific. We're already living in an emotional virtual reality, a lot of people, that contradicts physical reality sometimes. And natural law, emotional bubbles that people find themselves seeking either consciously or unconsciously. A lot of people call them echo chambers, but this goes farther than just confirmation bias. This is a lot of times anymore full-on delusion. I know you see it, even if you don't want it to. I know you see it. Anyone with any stance, no matter what it is on the political spectrum or otherwise, whatever belief you might have, you can find reinforcement. You can find avenues to feel right, to feel morally sound, to feel intelligent. Now, take that a step further. Corporations, at worst, individuals or some groups that people think exist out there, think that they understand the world a bit better. They view the world differently nonetheless. And because they understand the world better, they feel entitled to leverage our collective emotions. And these entities, these groups, they use emotional responses to drive their agendas, creating a reality where our feelings can be manipulated for power and profit. I mean, again, nothing new. Take Edward Bernays, for example, known as the father of public relations. Edward Bernays is actually the nephew of the father of psychotherapy, Sigmund Freud. I'm sure that name sounds familiar. This man, Edward Bernays, he used psychological principles to manipulate public opinion, promoting everything from cigarettes to political propaganda and even the toppling of foreign governments with the help of the CIA. It's fun stuff. By the way, this is also, everybody, this is your weekly reminder that the CIA has confirmed, openly admitted to the existence of remote viewing. They don't understand how it works necessarily. They won't tell you what they understand in the documents, the Freedom of Information or FOIA documents, but they can tell you how to do it. Anyway, Bernays demonstrated how emotions could be swayed to benefit corporate and political interests. Tried and true formula. Another example, one of my favorites, an oldie but goldie, COINTELPRO, the FBI's covert program aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, and disrupting political organizations. This program leveraged fear and misinformation to manipulate public perception and stifle dissent.
The FBI scored decisive blows against Ku Klux Klan violence, also identifying the gunman who killed Martin Luther King.
That program has long since ceased, so no worries there. Where does all of this power come from? How do we avoid being subject to this manipulation, right? I started to look as a way to help myself overcome what felt like a powerlessness over certain base emotions, base driving forces. In spite of years of personal work and development, I felt there was something more that I wasn't understanding about how our emotions work, and why sometimes it can feel kind of like we're different people sharing one body, you know? The search somehow took me to the myths, the stories, and the religions of our ancient ancestors from all over the world. And in these philosophies, I found a shared perspectives about how emotions and other unseen forces work. Shared threads, if you will. Across many ancient cultures, there are strikingly similar teachings about powerful forces or beings like the Elohim, who are said to rule over daily earthly dealings, and are what man was made from. These teachings often revolve around the concept of 7. I'm sure you've all come across the idea of the lucky number 7, or 7 being a heavenly number, the 7 chakras in Hinduism, the 7 deadly sins and virtues in Christianity, that's an easy one, the 7 heavens in Zoroastrianism, Islam and Judaism, and even the 7 primary emotions in various traditions related to health. In traditional Chinese medicine and Taoism, for example, the 7 emotions, joy, anger, worry, grief, fear, fright, and pensiveness, are considered fundamental to health and well-being. You see, our ancestors understood that emotions are powerful forces that, if not understood and balanced, could lead to destruction and overall a very not good time. For instance, in some ancient Christian teachings, the corruption of these emotions can result in the creation of malevolent beings, referred to as archons, or demons if you prefer, that feed on negative energy and suffering. I mean, it shouldn't surprise anyone that these core emotions are represented in so many stories and religions. They make up the whole of the human experience. It's strange to me that there isn't a similar respect and reverence in modern culture or general understanding of emotional power, you know? I mean, you guys ever just walk into a room and you just feel the energy change, or you can almost just pick up the vibe in the room? Or maybe you're working as part of a team, a well-oiled machine that radiates positivity, only to have a new addition with a negative attitude derail your momentum and completely throw you off course. I mean, am I tripping? Vibes? No? Anyway, now scholars often attribute the symbolism to nature worship, or using existing personifications to describe the laws of nature, etc. I don't disagree, but in addition to that practical use in considering the perceivable power that our emotions have, especially in our world today, it does make some sense that our ancestors would want to explain such an important but abstract aspect of this universe and do it in a way that would last for generations. Simple symbols pulled from nature are pretty good at that. One example, shared symbolism that you might be familiar with would be the tree of life or world tree, seen in a lot of cultures. I wrote this down, I'm gonna have to read this. Hungarian, Turkic, Armenian, Mongol, Norse, Germanic, Slavic, Finnish, Baltic, Chinese, Hindu, Egyptian, and Navajo, to name a few. That would be a video in and of itself. There's a lot, so much, but I feel compelled to cover as many of these cultures' teachings and why they are still relevant to how the modern world works, even if there are some that think us plebs don't deserve to know. Just kidding. And you know, I'm as amateur as it comes and will never lay out my interpretations as fact or gospel, no pun intended, because let me just be very frank. I want to understand the game board of life as best as I can while I'm here. A real understand. I think there are rules to the game, like the laws of physics that exist in the unseen places where science is only just now beginning to affirm and explore. And I can't say exactly why, but I think that maybe we all kind of knew already that there was something more, and that the great minds of our past, maybe they knew we'd need help remembering. Oh, right, and the fuckery. The tomfoolery. Right, that too. Honestly, if you believe in a progressive future, or you are one that thinks they would fight to the last breath for freedom, it's time to admit that without understanding the power that these emotions have over us, there's no future where anyone is free. We don't have to be slaves to our emotions or those who think they can leverage those emotions against us. We can learn to understand them better, reclaiming that power that clearly is ruling this age. And look, I genuinely look forward to hearing anything you guys have to say. Don't hold back. I know how it all sounds. Trust me, I've racked my brain for months trying to put this all together in packages that don't sound like a schizophrenic rant, but the long and short of it is it's gonna. So I had to make this, the channel, everything. I'll be posting weekly, I hope, but I truly think you'll find an immense practical value from this stuff, just like I did. Tony Robbins ain't got shit on Zarathustra. I'm sorry. Go out and learn how to love better and more. It's probably our best shot at a future. And for those who are seeking, you're not alone. My name is Michael Myers, and this is Empire of the Soul.